Hi you guys, it's FineGirlDime, and today we are going to talk about the dark side of TikTok. So just as a reminder, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe podcast style. We are going to talk about the dark side of TikTok. Instead of saying a word to get rid of someone, we'll say the K word, and the person who K word, they will be called a bang banger. Okay, so what is TikTok? TikTok is a social media platform that aims to showcase short videos, whether it's comedy, music, a viral challenge, informational, or a mini blog. The more users spends time on a specific TikTok creator's video, the more likely it is to go viral. The mission statement shares that TikTok aims to inspire creativity and bring joy. However, sometimes it's done quite the opposite for some people, which we will explore in other installments of the dark side of TikTok. TikTok is available in over 150 countries and has over 1 billion users. So let's look at the demographics of users on the app. The app and the brand targets anyone between the ages of 13 and 60. However, the percentage of US-based TikTok users by age would show as the following. Ages 10 through 19 make up 32.5%, 20 through 29, 29.5%, and so on, as you can see in our graph here. So this means that TikTok users' base age is aging up. However, we're going to focus on the TikTok users between the ages of 10 and 25 because the prefrontal cortex is fully developed at the age of 25. So this component, the prefrontal cortex, helps the individual accomplish executive brain functioning. This would be any decision-making skills, your judgment. That's what that controls. Many mental issues such as schizophrenia, the onset is adolescence between young adulthood. So that's another reason why we're going to focus on that specific demographic. Schizophrenia, it can occur in childhood. You can see certain links there. However, the odds are that it most likely will appear in your mid-20s. And this can be best illustrated by certain studies of Hafner. And I'll have all of my references linked below in the description box, so you can always go back and see the articles. The impacts of social media on mental health of adolescents has been integral to mental health not being as taboo as it was before, because in the media in general, TV shows, you see people experiencing things such as addiction with euphoria. You also see people being more open with their mental health issues.
Bitch. By the way, you look ugly as fuck today.
Just to ruin your day.
Can't wait till you crash and burn.
Can't wait to watch you fail today, bitch.
Even in some cases, people claim to have a certain condition even though they haven't been diagnosed with said condition, which can have a negative effect as well. But we are going to talk about specifically the impacts of social media on adolescents' mental health. Social media has created an electronic environment for people to communicate and create communities all at the tip of their fingers, which can be fantastic. People use it as a support group. However, there is a dark side to social media. It can create latent effects that are externalized in posts, such as someone saying, how they're feeling. Maybe they may act out towards someone and want to beat them up, and real life interactions, like example I just mentioned. Or it can be internalized by content consumption. So someone may feel insecure after looking at something they may feel is unattainable, or just fear of missing out. Recent findings regarding such suggested that the connection between social networking sites and mental health issues such as depressive symptoms, changes in self-esteem, and internet addiction were high in adolescents. Due to societal pressures, teenagers and young adults often feel that they should have the perfect clothes, the perfect hair, the perfect car, the perfect relationship. And social media shows that it's very one-sided. It's a highlight reel of everything. So it doesn't highlight exactly what happened to attain the desired outcome. And a lot of times it's all an illusion. In addition, I've noticed some increase in self-depreciating jokes amongst Generation Z. And social media success based on self-depreciating jokes, especially on TikTok, all of which can impact children, adolescent, and young adults' mental health as their prefrontal cortex is developing. So remember that the prefrontal cortex, it is still developing. It's still learning to navigate how to control impulses, how to make responsible decisions. Many bangers have mental health issues such as schizophrenia, borderline personality disorders, and antisocial personality disorders, just to name a few. But this doesn't mean if you have those mental illnesses or any other mental illness for that matter that you are a banger. There has been a correlation between mental illness and the method the person used to K-word someone. For example, schizophrenia delusion disorders were correlated to the use of a sharp instrument for K-wording someone. Mood disorders such as bipolar disorder, major depression disorder was found to have a connection between strangulation as a method. So now we're going to focus on how K-word and the K-worders have been glorified on TikTok. TikTok has glorified K-worders such as Isabella Guzman, Herrin, and Claire Miller by spreading trends inspired by the K-worders, pleading for their freedom or reduced sentences, and by creating fan pages. So now we're going to focus on Isabella Guzman. Isabella Guzman was born in Colorado in 1995 to her mom, Yoon Hoy, and Robert Guzman. She was described as a cheerful girl, warm, didn't make any trouble at home, and she listened to her mom. However, her disposition changed when her parents divorced. She had full custody. Shortly after, Isabella realized that her mom had a relationship with a man named Ryan Hoy. The two were in a relationship and they were married. But Isabella soon realized that her mother was with Hoy before her divorce from her father. This incited hatred towards Isabella's mother. She felt like her mom was trying to replace her dad, and then as a result of this, Isabella and her mom, they would argue all the time, and often Isabella would use very harsh language and be very violent towards her mother. Hoy, he said that Isabella became more threatening and disrespectful to her mother, including yelling at her, spitting in her face, and Hoy once saw Isabella kick her mother at one point. Despite that, Hoy, she still defended Isabella's custody. She wanted full custody. Sources say that she treated her very well. But all the violence came up one day. Isabella, she sent an email to her mom while her mom was at work, threatening her by saying, "You're going to make up for it." She called the police, rightfully so, and the police came to file a report for the domestic disturbance, warned Isabella to watch out for her behavior and that it's unacceptable. So after the police returned, he called her mom, to inform her that Isabella had been advised to be on her best behavior, and the police also ordered that Isabella's mom call them back just in case anything happened. Isabella's stepfather, Ryan, said that the girl locked herself in a room after that incident. Called her ex-husband Robert to help give their daughter advice. So Guzman did that by visiting the house and chatting with Isabella, and Isabella, who dropped out of high school, wasn't offended by her dad's actions. She just behaved how you would expect a daughter or son really to behave when their parents just trying to steer them in the correct direction. So she was respectful towards her biological dad. And the dad talked about it, and Robert told what was going on and how the conversation went. But Isabella, she behaved well for a few days, but then she went back to her regular ways of being disrespectful. The dad, he thought that she was making progress and that the talk to her was really helping out, but it wasn't. By the way, she owned a portrait studio where she worked sometimes 12 hours straight because she owned it. And one day she came home around 9:30, and at this time, she was still afraid of her own daughter. But she entered the house quietly and quickly, and she went upstairs to take a shower. Well, Isabella knew this was going to happen. Humans, we are creatures of habit. So she waited upstairs for her mom. When her mom entered the bathroom, that's when Isabella closed the door. Now, Ryan Hoy, who was downstairs, heard the screams from his wife from upstairs, and he quickly ran to get his wife and help out. He saw all the doors were open except for one, the bathroom door. Realizing that the door was locked, Hoy called his wife's name only to hear a scream back, thumps, and even more screams. And Hoy tried to break the door down, but with no luck. He just kept calling his wife's name and Isabella's name. Hoy heard his wife say Jehovah. Then there was silence, and the silence was deafening for Hoy. He started to panic. He started to fear the worst. And soon after, he saw blood just flowing underneath the door. Then he rushed downstairs to call 911. And before he came downstairs, Isabella, she was wearing pink sports bra, turquoise shorts, and she had an empty stare in her eyes. She didn't say a single word when she left the bathroom. She just walked past her stepfather as if he wasn't there. And then the door opened and he saw Isabella standing right outside the doorway holding a knife, and she just walked out of the house as if nothing happened. So now the police are on the scene, and Yumi, unfortunately, was found to no longer be with us. She was naked. She had multiple wounds all over her body, her neck, her torso, even her face. And there was a baseball bat near her body, and it was covered in blood. So the post-mortem analysis found that Yumi Hoy had been hit with a blunt weapon, and she suffered 151 instances of puncturing someone, and 31 instances were in the face and 48 were on her neck. So when Isabella ran away, she went to a shop and she claimed that she was a rape victim and she didn't want to go home. She told him not to call the police, and with her looks and her appeal, I guess the shopkeeper fell for it and allowed her to go back to the shop to use the restroom, wash her hair, change her clothes. The next day, Isabella, she was caught. She was charged with first class K-word, and she was already 18 when she was apprehended. So she was definitely going to be charged as an adult, and she was eligible for the serious penalty. What makes the story so, aside from it being so gruesome, but very chilling, is the fact that it went viral on social media. And this didn't happen at the time of the In the cases of a lot of things that go viral, sometimes they go viral years after the event actually happens. But not only was Isabella going viral because of K-wording her mother, but she was going viral for this.
At night she's screaming, my mind. Oh, she's sweet but a psycho, a little bit psycho. At night she's screaming, my mind.
Her glorification on TikTok. Many people saw her on TikTok before they even knew of her K-word. It's very odd because people saw her as if she was innocent due to her looks. And during several tests by doctors, Isabella was said to have mental disorder. She was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, and these symptoms of schizophrenia would include delusions and hallucinations. So this would be typically what you would see in a movie whenever they try to depict someone for having schizophrenia. This is what she was experiencing. So these symptoms can be very debilitating, and it's very blurred what's real and what's not real, and it was making it difficult for her to live a typical life. So the doctors, they found that Isabella argued that she did stab her mother, and it was a woman named Cecilia to save the world. Because of this, Isabella wasn't in prison, but they sent her to the government hospital in Pueblo for medication and psychiatric treatment.
I was not myself when I did that, and I have since been restored to full health.
Then the district attorney determined that Isabella should remain there until she was no longer a threat to the public or herself. Well, on the viral video and other platforms, the video was reposted, recreated, and users would debate whether or not to link her beauty with the gruesome act or to not put any sympathy on such a cold-blooded K-worder. Others said that they need to stop romanticizing, bullying, or making jokes about Isabella because she has a mental disorder and there's no reason to make fun of someone who can't think straight. And then you have others who say that this is just an example of how the illness of hers should be taken seriously and not as a joke. So on the video clip, they play the song Sweet But Psycho. So we are going to look at the lyrics of Sweet But Psycho, a song by Ava Max. It's a song just talking about a very toxic situationship, and there were a few lyrics that stood out to me. So for example, oh, she's hot but a psycho. So left, but she's right though. Okay, so this person, they need a bit of help. Not Ava Max in general, but you know, it's definitely romanticizing a very toxic relationship. And this isn't saying that people who have mental illnesses can't have a healthy relationship. They just have to make sure that they are getting the care they need to know how to cope with having a mental illness. Next line that stood out to me was, grab a cop kind of crazy. She's poison, but tasty. Yeah. People say run, don't walk away. And this kind of reminded me of that Issa rap that she does in season 2. So I'll insert the clip here.
I'm a liar, sweetie. I cheat on this too.
I do. Probably shouldn't trust me or I'll hurt your feelings, boo.
I don't want to be here, but my ex won't take me back, so my broken ass here, small talking over apps.
Put it down, girl. I'm so dead inside. I cry every day. You should get the check and here's the tip, Shaq. Run away.
But Issa, she was mentally ill. And the third one that stood out to me, you'll be saying no, 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 and then saying yes, yes, because she's messing with your head. Hey. So yes, what we talked about briefly, Isabella, she went viral on TikTok 7 years after the K word actually happened. So a random person on TikTok created the video that showed Isabella as she walked into a courtroom, sat down, then she turned to the news camera, stared at it for a while, and then she decided to sarcastically smile. Then she frowned. And this is all happening while Ava Max's Sweet But Psycho song plays in the background. The video went viral. A lot of people believed Isabella was too cute and too innocent to even be a... So why do I think Isabella Guzman went viral on TikTok? Scandal sells. Even when a situation is small, the commercial media and social media can often sensationalize the matter, and it causes false information to spread like wildfire. Or even if the information is true, like in this case it was true, it's scandalous, so it's going to spread like wildfire. And sometimes you do have information that is true at one point and then it changes over time and it gets more scandalous and more scandalous and more scandalous. So essentially it becomes this huge global game of telephone. Another link to Isabella Guzman becoming viral on TikTok is, of course, her being pretty. She benefits from pretty privilege, and that is exactly how she was able to go into the shop teller's shop without having the police called. For example, if I saw anyone with blood all over them, I'm calling the police. I am calling the police. 911, this is what I saw. I'm letting them know. Now we're going to move on to Herrin. Cameron's summary is a bit short. So Jessica Wrestlinger Robinol, she was 24 years old and her 20-month-old daughter Lily were crossing the street in Tampa, Florida when Herrin fatally struck them. The prosecutor said that Herrin was participating in a street race and he was driving at 100 miles per hour. Herrin, he was sentenced to 24 years in prison in April after pleading guilty to vehicular K-word. So after that, there was this huge cult following on TikTok and they were just very supportive of him. So since his sentencing, they created fan accounts saying that Herrin deserved a second chance. They also said that he was too cute to be incarcerated too long. Herrin's own TikTok account had gained 2 million followers, but his content is no longer available to view. TikToks about Herrin have racked up 2 billion views on the platform, and while the video with the hashtag, I won't say the hashtag here, it has been viewed almost 26 million times. The TikTok, it shows Herrin in court, and awfully the footage will show him crying or it'll show him taking a sip of his water with his mask off, and they also have a picture of him just staring so you can see his eyes. I personally thought it was pretty creepy, but some people liked the stare in his eyes, so to each their own. So they have accounts dedicated to Herrin's cause, and it's been on Twitter, it's been on Instagram, and they even created a change.org petition so his sentence could get reduced, and it's been signed 28,000 times. Herrin's sentence, they claimed it was too harsh, and they shared some of the comments. So one person claimed that he was not a K-worder, while another said that they hoped that he would be forgiven because he looks innocent. One person said, "Poor boy," and added, "He didn't do it on purpose." This was very outrageous. Even Herrin's mother told the Times that she thought that some people have an unhealthy obsession with her son. They sent letters to her. They were calling her in the middle of the night. And she said that while the support was comforting at first, that it became a bit scary because people started stalking her family members on social media. They hacked Herrin's fiance's account. And when Herrin addressed the Romanov family, more so the husband of the woman that was K-worded, he said that it's critical for you to understand that you've created an everlasting pain and depths of sorrow. And I found it was very disheartening that they would make excuses for Cameron because he's so cute. But once again, this person was glorified on TikTok after K-wording someone because scandal sells, and once again, pretty privileged. So lastly, we're going to examine the case of Claire Miller. So Claire, she was 14 years old at the time. She lived in Pennsylvania, and Claire's friends, they did say that let me think of a way to say this without saying it. Claire's friends thought that she would hurt herself and others. Claire usually talk about in a very uncomfortable fashion, but Claire's parents, they disagree with her friend's statements. When you're a teenager, I feel a lot of times you tell things to your friends as opposed to you telling things to your parents. So I feel like Claire's friends would have an idea of things that she said around them, and the parents, they also know Claire, so it's possible that both of these things can be true. Some did believe that Claire was jealous of her elder sister, Helen. She was disabled. She had a lot of her parents' attention just because she was disabled, so she needs a bit more attending to. Claire wanted things to end once and for all, so she decided to K-word her older sister so she can be the only person that gets attention. Well, it was believed that Claire was tired of always looking after her sister, and Claire would often take care of her sister, go on hospital visits with her, and never really leaving her side for the most part. She claims that she was worried about her parents' finances, and she knew that Helen was a cerebral palsy patient, so she wouldn't be recovering anytime soon. It's very tough condition to live with, and it's very nice to have a family support when it comes to cerebral palsy and many other conditions. Therefore, Claire, she took the decision to K-word her sister. She was arrested after she called the police February 22nd, and then she confessed to K-wording her 19-year-old sister. Well, Helen, the older sister, she left us due to a puncture to her neck. So many TikTok users have recognized who she is in the For You page. 14-year-old had a lot of videos on the platform, more than 1 million views at that point when she became viral. So following her arrest, Miller's profile on TikTok was taken down, but that hasn't stopped other users from sharing her story. So after the incident took place, Miller apparently called the authorities. She said that she punctured her sister. Then when the police arrived, they found her standing outside next to what seemed to be blood on the snow near her driveway. Miller, she had been attempting to wash the blood off her hands with the snow. The police report suggested that she had blood on her hands. Miller directed the police to her sister's room where they found Helen's body. It was covered by a pillow. It had blood stains on it. Then they removed the pillow and they found a large thing you cut potatoes with on Helen's neck, just above her chest. The attempts to save Helen's life, they were unsuccessful, and she was pronounced no longer with us at 4:13 a.m. The coroner autopsy report confirmed that Helen's cause of no longer being here with us was due to multiple punctures. So how was Claire glorified on TikTok? Well, initially she had 21,000 followers on TikTok. However, after K-wording her sister, she gained 11,000 more followers. So she had a total of 32,000 followers approximately, and her last video had millions of views. People were basically obsessing with her, and they made fan pages of her. They posted all of her old videos. So we need to think about remedies to stop glorification of K-worders and K-words on social media. And this doesn't mean that we cannot have any true crime. I am very interested in true crime. That is okay. It's always good for people to be informed. However, the glorification, the fan pages for certain K-worders. So, I love insert serial K-worder's name. That's not appropriate. And that's glorification of that K word. One thing would be just creating and participating in a positive and enriching content, and one that creates community, but a positive community. That's where the focus should be. You want to make sure that there's positive mental health examples and people that encourage positive mental health. Many people wonder what's the cause of glorification of K-worders. Well, of course, the K-worders, they committed the crime, so that is horrible. However, I say the cause would also be the people who are glorifying it and the reasons behind their glorification of these negative actions. So for example, there shouldn't be a fan page. Those fan pages should not be a thing. Fan pages uplifting K-worders, that should not be a thing. It should be reported. Another thing would be the parents. So a lot of these people that I've seen glorifying the K-worders on TikTok are teenagers and kids. So parents also need to take responsibility of this. They need to find out, like, they need to know what's going on in their kids' phones. Like, you don't want your child a part of a Jeffrey Dahmer fan page. You don't want that, because you never know who else is on there, what else they can be exposing the followers to. And that can be the case for anything, really. But parents, they just need to monitor their children, teenagers, young adults. Just make sure that you are watching things that are positive, enriching to your life, very community based, but a positive community, and make sure that that is the content that you're getting. Because when the algorithm, it looks at how much time you spend on certain things. It looks at your interactions with certain posts. So it's very important that you take in positive information, positive posts, positive interactions, so they can bring more positive content your way. So for example, your diet is never only what you eat and you working out. It's the music you listen to, the content that you take in. So just make sure that your diet is inclusive of good eating, good support system, or finding a good support system if one is not already established, and eating healthy, of course, and taking in healthy content. If you like more content like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. And if you're a fine girl, you are already subscribed. Bye.